Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chai With Us podcast. This is episode number 37. I am Erica, the personal developer.
Hi, I'm Ivana from Uncle Isabel.
Yay! And today we get together to talk about our personal relationship with food.
That's right. Today I'm drinking a green matcha tea with raspberry. What about you?
You are getting very repetitive, and I'm thinking a roast tea. I think we need to be more original than that. We need
to branch out.
Yes, we need to branch out. We need to buy new sets of tea or whatever.
Well, once tea companies start to pay us to advertise for them, I will.
Well, you're right. Fair enough. Because I'm all the time I'm talking about the yogi tea here, and I'm not getting any. Like no money for me. Seriously. But yeah, I'm drinking roast tea, and it's delicious. I don't care. I don't get any money. Listen. So this episode I think it's going to be very interesting because we do have very different perspectives on food. First of all, I love that you have an Ayurvedic background, that you know everything about Ayurveda, and it's so freaking cool. And then there's this fact that you have to eat certain foods because otherwise your body will not respond well. And I am the type of person that annoys everybody, which is the person that can eat anything and get away with it. Okay, don't get sick. I don't get sick. You know, I'm pretty healthy. God knows why. So I think it's going to be an interesting conversation because maybe for the first time we have different views on food, on something. With food. So
yeah, I agree.
How would you sum up your relationship with food?
Well, first I'd like to say that my relationship with food has changed immensely. Before, I would not respect what I was eating. I would just eat whatever, and I didn't care until I realized that there's a direct correlation between what I eat and how I feel. So now I can't just have cake for breakfast or cake for dinner and then
cake for breakfast.
Yes, I used to eat horribly.
Whoa.
I used to eat horribly. Because I was working a lot, I would eat a lot of those frozen meals, like you know those TV dinners that you just pop in the microwave and microwave it. Like I lived off of those. And it never occurred to me that maybe the reason I don't feel so good is because of the food that I'm eating. But I would eat a lot of frozen food, a lot of processed food, a lot of candy, just food that is what in Ayurveda they call dead food. Like there's no life in it. It's not, there's no
dead
prana
food.
in it.
I'm going to write it down. I like dead food. Yeah.
Yes. And since when I started on this journey of going to India and learning more about Ayurveda and learning more about food, I started to realize that there's a direct relationship between, like I keep saying, of how what I eat is how I feel. And not just that, how you eat. How do you eat your food? I used to, you know, I would like walk around while I was eating. I wouldn't sit in a place. I was watching TV while I ate my food. It wasn't in silence. And now, like what I love that I learned at Pulchati is to sit outside in nature and maybe say a prayer before you start eating and to be thankful for all the people that helped bring all this food into your life, like the farmer, the merchant, you know, all the people that helped process your food so that you could have it.
That's so good because that's one thing I don't do that I could add.
Say thank you?
To say thank you for my food.
Yes.
You know? And maybe that's one thing that I could add to my habits because I think it's beautiful and it takes you to the present moment that you're actually eating. Because I think that nowadays we eat while we are watching TV, while we are at our computers. We don't even savor the food anymore. I'm sorry, I'm just generally speaking, you know?
No, it's true.
And I do find myself doing these things. Like I totally do them. And it's so interesting because when I do my silent days, like the best part of the day probably is
the food.
when I eat. And the food is delicious. You know what I mean? And the food is delicious because I'm paying attention to what I'm eating. I am not
Mhm.
distracted, and I do savor the food. And I'm someone who actually savors the food a lot. People tell me, you're like, you
Mhm.
really enjoy eating. I do enjoy eating, but
Mhm.
even I find myself sometimes just eating just because,
And
you know.
doesn't it taste so nice when you're eating in silence because you can completely all your focus is on the food. It's not on the conversation.
Amazing, best food in the world. Just cook on a silent day or eat on a silent day, and it's delicious, and
Mhm.
it's different because you are focused only on that, you know. You're
Mhm.
not,
Yeah.
it's your taste and everything and the smell, and it's good. It's such a pleasant experience that we could have pretty much every day,
Mhm.
but we decide to do other
Yeah.
stuff.
I agree.
Yeah.
And it's also like how you cook with food. Like before, I never cooked my meals. I would always just get ready-made meals, frozen food. And
Mm.
now when I cook, I like to chant different mantras while I'm cooking, or I like to play mantra music. And it puts you into a totally different perspective. And then when you're done cooking, the food tastes so much better.
Yes,
So think
it's
about
true.
like where is your food coming from? Who are you buying your food from?
Hmm. And I like the fact that you said just like cooking pretty much with intention, right?
Yes.
And when you go to a restaurant and there is no love in the food, you know, you can tell the food is not going to taste as good as if it was cooked with love.
Yes.
So putting love while you are doing, I mean, it's great. I love cooking. I love cooking. I don't like cooking for myself. Well, sometimes I do it, yeah.
Yeah.
So before yesterday, I made this salmon just for myself and just and I like it. But I like cooking, and it's such an enjoyable. It can be an enjoyable experience instead of
Yes.
like, you know.
Exactly. That's how I used to cook too. But that's
Just
exactly what I
throw
mean.
things in there,
So my
whatever.
aunt, I love to tell this story because my aunt always makes fun of me. So she made this coffee and it was made horribly. Like she didn't care. Like she just threw the water on the stove. Then she like put the coffee on there. She threw the water into the coffee and then she poured it and then it was so like I don't give a shit kind of made coffee. And I told her, I was like, you made that coffee without any love. And she started laughing. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to drink that, is what I said to her. And so now, when she makes coffee, she always says that I made this coffee with love for you.
Oh, that's very sweet.
I love that story because she like was laughing so hard, but I told her I was like, there is no way I'm willing to drink what you just made because it was made so like haphazardlessly and just you just went through the actions and through the emotions, but you didn't think about what you were doing. And so we love laughing about that story because it's funny, but it's so true. Watch someone prepare food like you just described, like very like just without intention.
Yes, it's so true. Um,
Well, we always talk about like when we're sick and our mom makes us soup and the soup tastes really good and it's because it's done with care and love. And if that's why like her intention was to make us feel better and that's why we enjoy this soup. As opposed to when you eat soup on any other days it's just soup. There's nothing to it.
exactly. This is making me think that, that our relationship with the food is not only the food, right? There
Hmm.
are a lot of
Exactly.
things, there's so much love that can be in the food, and it's not only a nutrient. It's not only nutrients. It's just like there's so much more. It's something that it's
Hmm.
pleasurable. It's something that stimulates our senses. And it's so cool that we're having this conversation because I think we are so lucky to have abundance of food that we kind of forget that we are freaking lucky to be able to
Exactly.
experience, the amount of food that we eat, the different
Hmm.
food that we have from different cultures. We just take
Hmm.
it for granted. And it's so crazy that right now, for example, at least here in Spain, you go to a supermarket and you actually have like already made foods that are healthy. And before we didn't used to have these, right? And right now you can just put something on the microwave and it's actually healthy or
Hmm.
healthier than eating, I don't know,
I
frozen
think you hit the
lasagna.
nail on the head. You said it correctly. Like we have so many options to taste different cultural food,
Yes,
and like a lot of us, I don't want to speak for everyone, are not even grateful for that. But if you're in a country like somewhere else, you don't have that opportunity, and you maybe eat the same food all the time.
exactly.
So I think it's if you have that opportunity, why not go out and explore and taste different food from different countries and see what you like? Because maybe you like another culture's food you didn't even realize that you loved until you tried it.
Yeah, and just, be grateful for what we have. I love that you mentioned the prayer, and it's something that I'd love to start doing. And just be grateful for what you have, like meat. If you are not a vegetarian, if you or vegan, if you eat meat, know that you are so freaking lucky to have meat. Some people live in countries where,
Mhm.
meat is for rich people, for example, and we have abundance of
Yes.
everything. Like here in Spain, I eat avocados every day. You know how much an avocado costs in Portugal? Like, you
Yes,
know
it's
what I mean?
expensive in the US too.
You see, you see. So I should be grateful for the freaking
Mhm.
avocados. Yeah, for the freaking avocados.
Avocado.
Avocados, avocado. So yeah, we should
Tomato,
be.
tomato.
Today we are going to talk about pronunciation in England, United States. Ah, oh boy. Um,
think
yeah.
it's
So,
important to just maybe start out with the prayer.
mhm,
Like with the prayer. And when you start with the prayer, go all the way to the beginning. Where did the food come from? Not just you bought it at the market, but to the farmer that made it, to the people that helped establish the seeds to grow the food. Because, like, have you ever been to a rice farm? It's amazing how long it takes them to collect all the rice and all everything, all the detail that goes into making it that we don't even realize. We just stick it in our microwave and you have 1 minute rice. And it took so much to get that to your house.
you know, I think that as a modern society, we have a problem in
Mm-hmm.
general. We don't know where our food is coming from.
Exactly.
We have no idea. Some people don't know where the potato comes from. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
seriously, and that's a problem. I think that that's really a problem. Now that I think about it, like it's a freaking problem. What are you putting in your body? Where is this coming from? Who did it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, right?
Exactly.
Because some people are working very hard to give you food.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, start with the prayer. I
And
like it.
what kind of food are you eating? Is it genetically modified food? Because that starts to affect your body as well when you're constantly eating genetically modified food.
Yeah. Um, I'd like to talk a little bit about diets.
Okay.
Because okay, you go ahead. You talk about that. Um, I don't know. I tried a few things, but like not. I just wanted to see. I went into this discovery journey where I was trying to see what works best for me. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, let me see. I wanted to feel strong, energized, and I tried a few things. And I mentioned the other day I tried keto, and I actually felt
Yes.
very good, like strong and everything. But then it was very hard for me, at least. I know a lot of people do it, and a lot of people are extreme. I didn't go to the extreme, okay? I ate a lot of
Mm-hmm.
veggies and everything. Um, but there are a lot of diets going around, right? And all the
Mm-hmm.
diets are like claiming this is the best diet, this is the da da da. And lucky enough, I do have a body that can cope with a lot of different foods. So I was able to try different things, see if it works, see if I feel a little bit more tired and everything. Um, and and it's crazy that you have all these diets telling you, us, the public, that this is the big deal and this
Mm-hmm.
is it. This is the diet you should be following, okay? Only on
Mm-hmm.
ketosis, that's it. You should be on ketosis. You shouldn't eat any meat. You should eat a lot of meat. You should, and
Mm-hmm.
and like right now, I got to a point where I like to say that I eat with my intuition and that
Yes.
I buy food with my intuition. I do eat in school right now because we have a very tight schedule and they give us food. But when I'm not in
Mm-hmm.
school, I go to the supermarket and I buy what I think my body needs, right? If my body is
Mhm.
obsessed with broccoli, I know, this is me, my personal experience, that I need freaking broccoli. I need to buy,
Yeah.
broccoli. And I do like this idea of eating with your intuition because, I mean, your body knows best, right?
Mhm.
If you need
I agree.
something, your body will tell you that you need something. If you are
Mhm.
thirsty, that means that it's been a while since you drank, since you had some water. And I think it's the same with food. But I also recognize that I am very in touch with my body.
Mhm.
So, what's your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts?
I love what you said to intuitively eat. I'm trying to do the same thing, and I there's this method that I learned from Donna Eden, and what she says is to stand and hold the food item. So let's say it's bacon, hold it at your stomach and completely relax and take a few deep breaths, inhale and exhale, and relax and let yourself either be pulled forward or backwards. If the food is good for you, you'll be pulled forwards. If the food is bad for you, you'll be pulled backwards, and if it's neutral, then nothing will happen. And I tried this with many different items. We can try it with food, with pills, and you can even try it with someone holding it at your back so you don't know what it is. And intuitively, you'll be pulled. And it's so scary the first time you're pulled backwards because you feel like you're going to fall, but then you realize that the food is not good for you.
You're
And I
like, who
started
pushed
doing
me? Who
this.
pushed me? What happened?
Exactly. It really is scary. You should try it. Try it and let me
I
know how you
tried it.
felt.
I tried it. Sometimes I go shopping and I try it. I try to
Yeah,
focus and everything. I love it. I love it.
I did too.
And it
It's
depends
scary
on
though
the
when you're being
day.
pulled backwards, isn't it?
It is. It is. And it depends on the day. Sometimes something that will not be good for you one day, it's not, maybe next week you try it
Uh-huh.
again and that's okay. I tried it a few times and I really
Yeah.
like it. It's cool. Yeah.
I do too. I love it. And you can also try it with vitamins and how many vitamins you take. You can try it with one pill, then two pills, three pills, and it'll tell you what is too much by being pulled backwards. But I love what you said about eating intuitively. I think once you start to listen to your body, once you eat a food and you start to listen to your body and see how you felt, that is eating intuitively, and then you know if it's good for you or not. But we've
Mm,
we've shut that voice out of our head and we don't like to listen to it. That
yes.
that is what has happened to us. So
Mm,
when you eat something like maybe I used to love carbonated drinks like a Coke, but carbonation is bad for me because it gives me gas, and if I'm a Vata, then I shouldn't have any carbonation because it's all gassy and I'm already have a lot of gas. So I learned that in Ayurveda that I should avoid eating carbonated or drinking carbonated drinks, which before I never occurred to me that maybe that's what's giving me so much gas.
hmm Can you please translate what does I'm a Vata mean so
Ah,
people can
okay,
know a
yeah.
little bit?
Yeah, so in Ayurveda, very briefly, there's three different types. There's a Kapha, Pitta, and a Vata. And a lot of people are a combination of something. So I am a Vata Pitta, which is a combination of air and fire. And so once you classify yourself, then you can find out what food is good for you depending on your type. So a Vata person, because they're mostly made up out of gases, should avoid food that gives you gas.
Mm,
So, carbonated drinks, cabbage, broccoli, anything that's cruciferous will give you gas. You have to avoid that. If you're a pitta person, that you're mainly fire, that means that you have to avoid spicy food because if you already have a lot of fire inside of you and then you eat spicy food, just going to aggravate the fire. And a
mhm,
kapha person, which is mostly earth, needs to avoid eating food that is heavy because they already feel heavy. So kapha person can enjoy light foods like salads. Um, they can have all the chips they want, whereas opposed to a vata person cannot have any chips. So
mhm.
it's very different. This is just very basic information about Ayurveda. I did a whole podcast on Ayurveda you can find on the internet if you just search my name and Ayurveda and it'll come up where I
Yeah,
talk about the specifics.
and it's very interesting, and you explain things more deeply, so people should
Yes, I do.
definitely watch it. And we're gonna link it so people
Hmm.
can just click on it and see. Because if you are interested in Ayurveda, that's a great start. I love it.
Yeah. Hmm.
Hmm.
And you can just go to bioandbotanicals.com and they have a quiz and it'll tell you which type you are based on the questions that they ask you. And then you'll know and you can look up what food is good for you and try it out and see.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So the other day I had a conversation with someone, and we were talking about like you should be able to eat everything.
Mm-hmm.
Some people say you should eat everything, and I hate that idea, because you should not eat everything. You should eat what is good for your body. And
Exactly.
what some people do not understand is that you can, yes, you can eat everything and you have a big tooth or good teeth. I don't know what people talk about good tooth. I don't know, whatever. But yes, that's me. Hello, I'm Erica. Nice to
No, I
meet
love
you.
it. It was cute.
That's how my brain works every time. Um, and you don't have to like and eat everything. Sometimes when you don't like something is because that thing is not good for your body.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes,
Exactly.
not ever. Oh my god, I got so excited. I almost dropped the light. um, right? Just you can try new things, but sometimes you actually don't like it, and sometimes it's actually not that good for your body, and that's
So,
it.
what advice do you have for people of how to listen? How did you start listening to what was good for you? How do you listen to that voice, or how do you recognize that that's what the voice that's telling you?
I think it was a little bit of a consequence of trying different things and see how my
Mm-hmm.
body reacts,
Okay.
really. So I try different things and I see how I feel when I try different things. I
Mm-hmm.
really learn how to, make connections. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
really pay attention to what you're eating and how you feel after, right?
Exactly.
Just think
Mm-hmm.
about it. I know that this is very strange, but if I eat protein in the evening, um, I can then wake up in the morning and I'm not hungry at all,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I can fast until sometimes lunch or something.
Okay.
It's something that works for me. It's something that I
Mm-hmm.
noticed, doing different things and then noticing what. I rather eat something that maybe you would say in the evening, eat something light. If that's what works for
Mm-hmm.
you, that's great. But what works for
Mm-hmm.
me is to eat something and then wake up with energy and don't stuff, you know,
Yes.
my mouth in the morning and then
Mm-hmm.
be tired. And,
Yeah.
I'd rather have a great lunch. That's me. But that came out of observation and trying new
Mm-hmm.
things and really listening to my body. Like, what did I eat? Do I feel more energized? I really did a deep work on that.
Yeah. I
And
like
how
what you
I,
said about do you feel energized?
yes,
Because
that's
it's very
the
important. If you eat the
secret.
food and it makes you want to go to sleep, that means that you have a food allergy to what you just ate. Food
Yes.
should not make you want to sleep.
Yes, for me, that's the secret. And if I feel
Mm-hmm.
energized, I feel good, I feel energized, that's good food for me. If I feel
Exactly.
I will have a burger, no problem. But I do know that it's not going to, I will not, I'm not going to do yoga after, if you know
Right.
what I
And I
mean.
also love what you mentioned about fasting. I think we've forgotten how important fasting is because
Yeah.
we come from humans that, used to be hunters and gatherers. And so sometimes they weren't able to hunt all the food that they needed to eat. And so then they had to fast. And
Hmm.
so we're not meant to be like to constantly eat, 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 and eat. Like our body needs to fast. So if you can start slowly, maybe do a fast once a month or once a week and see how you feel, because when you
Hmm.
fast, you all of a sudden start to get all this energy. Do you feel that way, that like you have so much more energy after you fasted?
You know what? I've never done like big fasting, huge fasting, like a day. Some people do a week or something like that. I heard some stuff, but I do like to fast in the morning because there is no need. Like I mean, there
Mhm.
is no need. There is pleasure in food, but sometimes we just get too caught up in the pleasure, right?
Mhm.
Food is fuel to our body. That's what food is, right?
Yes.
So I am not going, if I'm good, if I have enough gas, I am not going to keep putting, you know like, what's the point?
Yes.
So
Yes.
in the morning, if I'm okay, if I can function, I am not going, because I used to think that breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
Mhm.
Well, you know what I used to do? I used to have a huge breakfast, and then I 2 hours after I would be hungry.
Mhm.
Again, like
Mhm.
my body was, it doesn't work for me, you know.
Mhm.
And so if it's the same, if I eat breakfast and I don't eat breakfast, well, then I don't eat breakfast, and I'm not going to put, you know, more
Yeah.
fuel in my body if I don't need, if I don't have to.
Mhm.
And fasting is, for me, it's just, you know, we just need to eat like the proper food, the good food.
Mhm.
And then if
Mhm.
you don't need more food, you know what? Just don't eat it. It's not necessary. That's how I see it.
I love what you said about we started eating for pleasure, and that is so true. As restaurants started opening up, they started combining all these food that maybe don't go well together.
Hmm.
In Ayurveda, for example, it says that you never combine milk with a banana. I know people always get upset over that because they love their smoothies, but because the two have different tastes that are opposing, and when you do that, it's going to start accumulate toxins in your body and eventually lead to different types of diseases.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with you. Like we got away from like eating nutritious food and eating for pleasure and how it looked instead of eating food that is actually good for us.
Yeah. And about fasting, I know some people who were fasting and they thought it was liberating, you know.
Mhm.
I find my liberation more in silence than fasting. But I think that,
Yeah.
no, really, I think that they're similar, I think.
Mhm.
Because you
Yeah.
get that vibe of, you know what, I am getting in control, I am not consuming more than I need, you know. I think they
Mhm.
go a little bit together, and the feel that you get is a little bit similar. Someone told me
And
that
some
the other day. It's not my idea.
and
Someone
sometimes
told me.
I feel like we eat out of boredom. Like when we're bored, we just eat.
Mm. Yes. Another thing. Before you eat, have some water.
Yes, I agree.
That's one thing for me. It was mind blowing, you know,
Mhm.
because I didn't know that. I didn't know that sometimes you're not hungry, you're just thirsty. I had
Yes.
no idea. And it's true. If you sometimes I'm just thirsty and I think that I need to eat the entire world.
Mhm. I love that you mentioned that because it's so true. A lot of times we're actually thirsty and not actually hungry.
Yeah, that's true. So how would you consider your relationship with food? Do you think you have a healthy relationship with food?
Now I think I do. Now I know that I need to eat food that is alive, which means eating mostly vegetables and fruits,
Mm-hmm.
and also watching the way that it's prepared and cooking it instead of cooking it with like bad oils, cooking it with ghee, which is clarified butter, because that is really good for your brain. And I think I have an excellent relationship with food. And now I enjoy my food. I love eating. I love doing my prayer before the food. I love eating the food. I love being thankful for it. I love all the people that help make the food, and I actually enjoy it. And I eat it to taste to get the taste out of it, not just before. Like I said, I would like walk around. Like I would sometimes, if my boss wanted to talk to me, I would go and I would eat my salad standing up while he was talking, and I would just eat my
Oh my
salad.
God.
So I mean, I had horrible, horrible, horrible food practices, like eating on the go, or like if I was running late to a deposition, I would like get a coffee and a sandwich, and I would eat it in the car while I was driving. But that is so normal, like, or eating it at your desk while you're working. That is so
Hmm.
normal in the U.S. Like
Yeah.
to not set aside a specific time of the day to have your meal in peace.
Yeah, and around the world, and just besides of not being healthy, you know, in regards to your body, it's not healthy also for your mind. Like when you
Exactly.
eat food, it's just when you sit down and eat, it's a time for you to disconnect, you know, and it's a very good mindfulness exercise to simply eat
Mhm.
and savor the food. And we
Yes.
lost a little bit of it, not only in the States, I think that around the world we
Mhm.
lost this feeling
And
things, stop to savor it.
And where are you eating? Because sometimes in restaurants it can be very loud and noisy while you're trying to eat your food. It's so important to have a nice ambiance when you're eating. And I love the pulchati when we got to eat outside, outdoors, and everyone ate in silence. And you could just hear the spoons hitting the plates. And I love that because it was so nice. Do you remember that?
Yes, and I remember the view, you know, everyone's
Yes.
silent, the view is great. I mean, ah, I want to go to India when I can. um,
But you can
Yeah.
create that atmosphere in your home. You can play nice mantra music in the background. You can light a candle. You can sit down and have like a nice glass of wine, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
and just enjoy your food in silence. And I'm not talking about like, don't think that like, oh, I'm only silent when I'm eating. Talk with your partner, have a conversation, but then once you start eating, like don't talk while you're eating. Then when you're finished, you can carry on with the conversation.
I like that. I like that. I always thought it was weird of people to say like, "Don't speak when you're eating," and
Mhm.
I thought it was, I don't know. I didn't grasp the, the meaning of it. Like,
Mhm.
why? Why are we silent? Like, do you want me to shut up? Or, and it's
Mhm.
completely different. It's just the fact that you can enjoy the flavor and enjoy the meal, right?
Mhm.
Way better. And I do like to speak over food, really. But the
Mhm.
thing is, it's also sometimes it's also cultural, right? Because
Yes.
what you just pictured there, it's very healthy. But for example, here in Spain, we have tapas, right?
Yes.
And we share our food. So there is a lot of
Mhm.
noise, a lot of conversation, different dishes all over the place. And it's like the healthiest thing in the world. And you, even though you are speaking, is such like a
Mhm.
bonding moment
Mhm.
when you're eating, right? Because you
Mhm.
are savoring it, and you are commenting on it, and you're like, this one
Mhm.
is good and this one as well. It's just like a
Mhm.
complete different thing, right?
Yes.
And just I think that just find the way that works best for you, just for you to actually enjoy food. And I think that a lot of people have, I think, no, I know that a lot of people have very unhealthy relationship with food.
Mhm.
And for those people, like, food is not something that it's pleasant.
Mhm.
And I like this idea of trying to create just a good environment and see food in a
Mhm.
different way. Maybe it would help people
Yeah.
who don't have like this healthy relationship with food, right? Because
Mhm.
it's a severe problem. Some people do have a severe problem with
Right.
food, and sometimes I'm like, it's so crazy. I cannot even imagine because I love food
Mhm.
so much.
Mhm.
But for some people, food is just not a problem. Isn't it
Yeah.
crazy
Yeah.
that
It
food is
is.
actually a
It's sad.
problem? Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know if I said it already, but I do consider, no, I didn't. I consider that my relationship with food is very healthy.
Yeah.
Try to eat intuitively, but
Mhm.
I'm not too hard on myself. If I eat badly for 1 week, then I will eat good stuff for a
Mhm.
month. I don't think we should take
Yeah.
this thing that unless you have a disease and you have to follow
Yeah.
some strict rules over your food.
Mhm.
Food shouldn't be something for us to worry about or struggle. We
Mhm.
have abundance of food
Exactly.
nowadays, really, and just try to see what works best for you and just keep it. And if
Mhm.
you have to change, then change. Um, and that's it. And I wish that food was not a problem for
Yeah.
a lot of people, like we see nowadays with pressure and
Mhm.
social media and
Yes.
diet and all of that. I mean,
We live in a diet culture, which is very unfortunate.
it is very unfortunate. Like, I don't know of one thing that works for everybody.
Right.
Like, and why would a diet work for everybody? We all have different bodies, and like, I
Yeah.
really seriously, I hope that people understand that they should, if you have problems with food, I mean, go to a nutritionist, sit down
Exactly.
and talk to someone, right?
Mhm.
And and that's it, because otherwise this is just, we cannot go along with all this crazy
And
culture.
a lot of times food can give you allergies too, and so it's
Mm,
important for you to figure out which food is causing you allergies and which food you need to maybe take out. For
yeah.
the longest time, I didn't know that I was lactose intolerant, and I actually found out when I came to Spain. Did you know that? I
Really?
had just traveled from France and I came to Spain and I was trying to buy sour cream and I could not find sour cream anywhere in Spain where I was staying. I was staying in Valencia and I wanted to make a dish with sour cream and I was trying to explain to him what the sour cream was and he didn't have any in the store. And that's when I realized that I was lactose intolerant, was because I didn't add sour cream to the meal I was eating.
Ah,
Yeah.
damn.
Yeah. So for years I was lactose intolerant. I didn't even know it. And in the US we put milk in everything. It's almost in all the processed food that we have. So it's very difficult to find something that does not contain milk if it's
Mm-hmm.
processed. And yeah, once I was able to like just remove milk out of my diet, I
Mm-hmm.
felt so much better and a lot of my allergies went away.
Hmm. I'm not intolerant, but I never liked milk. I never enjoyed it. And I remember drinking
Hmm.
milk before going to school and feeling sick.
Yeah, exactly.
So really, I just took it off, and I do
Hmm.
eat cheese and stuff, but I don't drink milk, and I
Hmm.
just limit myself over there because I know that it doesn't work for me. Seriously.
Yeah,
Wow, that's very interesting that you have to. That's the universe. The universe is always working. The universe is like, you're not going
exactly.
to have sour. You need to understand that you are intolerant.
Exactly, exactly.
um,
So that brings us back to trusting the universe.
yes, trust the universe and your
Mm-hmm.
intuition. We always say the same thing. This is always very interesting, but we end up saying the same things over and over.
Because they're true for so many things that we talk about.
Yeah, and they are, I think they are like the base of everything,
Exactly.
the foundations of everything, at least for
Mm-hmm.
us. It doesn't, if you're listening to
Yeah.
this and you cannot relate, well, that's okay.
Hmm.
That's just another way of thinking.
Yeah.
Um, I think I'm done with food. I'm hungry now.
Me too. I think it's time to wrap up. We'd love to hear from you. So you guys tell us, like, how is your relationship with food? Can you eat everything? Is there something that bothers you? Like, what food don't you like? So let us know.
Thank you, everybody, for listening, and thank you for watching us, not you, watching us. And we really appreciate you. Thank you.
Yes, we do. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.